time that aren't savory people.
Back with me now, and as you can see, they were arguing through the commercial break. I'm back now with my panel. What will Betsy McCaughey say after the break? Betsy, your point was?
One of the most important things Melania Trump said in that interview is she's asking for her husband to be given the same right to fact-checking, to due process, as anybody else accused of a crime like sexual assault would be. And when Jessica Leeds went to the New York Times complaining that on a flight seated to Donald Trump, he groped her so horrifically that even the man across the aisle was bug-eyed at the sight of this assault, the New York Times, 48 hours later, printed that story, despite being warned by Donald Trump that it was untrue, printed that story without being able to ascertain the flight, the year that it occurred, whether Mr. Trump and Mrs. Leeds were even on a flight together. 2 days later, a man came forward and said, I was the man across the aisle, and what I witnessed was exactly the opposite of what Mrs. Leeds contends. Now,
that man was discredited.
No, he wasn't discredited. I know
he has no corroborating evidence for his account.
Right.
There's also issues with his credibility.
At this point, that is not a credible. Let me finish. At this point, it is not a credible allegation because
Gina, hold on. Let her finish. And then
it's just he said, she said.
Yeah.
And I would ask the New York Times or any media outlet before they smear something on the front page that can turn a presidential election.
Okay, Betsy.
That they have some evidence. One iota.
Betsy, you're filibustering now. Go ahead, Gina.
It's worth pointing out that there were two women in that story.
This is where the FOIA information is, that her own high-level staffers tried to bribe the FBI. When you look at the WikiLeaks, which again, the WikiLeaks emails, which again, she has not even denied. She's not even addressing those. Not even addressing them.
We're talking
You're
about
just a robot of right-wing talking points tonight.
Gina, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about something else.
America has moved on from this.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Looking at and why we're not asking Hillary to defend
Donald Trump hasn't moved
her own
from
campaign
this.
against this evidence.
That's the
I
problem.
think in the debate he will have moved on.
The surrogates are like defending a different candidate because Donald Trump has not moved on from this. He continues to bring it up. He brought it up again today at a rally. He brought it up yesterday. He tweeted about it. He's keeping it out there because he wants to put out this sad story of it's a rigged election, which is terribly irresponsible on his part.
But guess what, Gina? If he didn't talk about it,
stop talking.
Yeah, if he didn't talk about it, then we'd say Donald Trump held a rally today and talked about this.
But the media has covered this story again with zero facts, 4-1. 4-1 over the amount of time that they've given these.
You know why they don't? You know why we're not talking about it right now?
Everybody else. If Donald Trump acted like an adult candidate, he wouldn't have to blame everybody else about his problems and why he's losing in the polls. I mean, if he grew up, maybe this would be a little bit more taken more seriously.
We've all known
Enough
that
with
from
the
the
blaming.
But he also doesn't collude with government agencies.
But there's also it's also a false equivalency. There's not parity in these two stories. One is about allegations of sexual assault against women, which is, eye-popping for most people, and the other is about how government runs, and both of them deserve to be covered, but they're not going to be covered equally.
This is not how government runs.
Sorry, whoa,
are not how government runs. Felonious bribes to the FBI, that's not how government runs.
I didn't say it was right. I didn't say it was right. I'm talking about process.
I agree there, but that's precisely why Donald Trump ran as an outsider, as somebody to come in and take on the establishment and the elite who have acted this way and disregarded we the people forever. And I would submit to you, Don, that most women out there are so much more concerned with having a candidate who is going to be honest and who's going to break up the Washington cartel.
Hillary, I've got 20 seconds. I know a lot of women who are concerned about sexual assault as well, but Hillary, I'll give you the last 20 seconds.
Here's the basic point, and Gina's just been a font of right-wing talking points tonight. It's hurting my ears. It's so crazy. But here's the issue, which is, and I've been on TV 3 times today talking about Hillary Clinton's WikiLeaks, so it has been covered all day long. The reason we are on these issues is because Donald Trump himself, Donald Trump himself, all day long, cannot stop being a victim.
Okay, I gotta
if he was out there talking about the economy, talking about other things, maybe
I gotta go, Hillary.
Would be too.
That's right.
Every night, everyone, I get a front row seat. Can you believe it? 21 days. Tomorrow.